What is up, my Squirrelites? It is I, your king, welcoming you back to more Let's Play Child of Light. In the last episode, we continued through, what is it called? The Plains of Rambert. And in this episode, I have actually neglected to put on Nora's skill points, so we're going to be doing that at the very beginning of this episode. I made a little mistake last time saying, oh, it's only going to be the last episode, this episode, and then a little bit of the next episode that's going to be post-com. It's actually going to be the entirety of next episode, and then a little bit of the following one. So it actually was a little bit more of an effect than I thought, but hopefully we can get through this without too much difficulty. So, thing about Nora, okay? Now, she has 2 awesome skill trees and 1 completely horrible skill tree that I never ever use ever. Her Petrify skill tree I'm gonna upgrade a lot. Her ones where she increases speed, where she uses Quicken and stuff like that. That one I'm gonna increase a lot. But then there's that tree on the bottom, which is unstoppable. I'm not even gonna touch that tree like for this entire game until like I have no other choice, because it's pointless. It's pointless. I have no use for it. There's nothing to do with it. I mean, Unstoppable is a really lame technique. I don't like it. I mean, prevents all allies from interruption while casting for 4 turns. Really, that doesn't serve me any purpose, because really the whole name of the game is preventing interruption. And honestly, like, what if I use... I mean, that would just be a waste of a turn and MP in the end. That's MP I could actually be using to deal damage and end them faster, because there's... I mean, I could see that sort of being useful in a boss fight. The thing about a boss fight is all boss fights in this game, or at least... I mean, aside from the Hydra, the way that they work is you take down the 2 weaker enemies and then focus on the strong one. Now, when you focus on the strong one, you really should never, ever even worry about interruption, because you're constantly doing the reverse to it. You're constantly holding it in place while moving your characters up the timeline as fast as possible. That's just kind of the way it works. I mean, you shouldn't really ever, you know, have to worry about interruption if you're playing your cards right. So it seems like it'd be a waste of a move, and really not necessarily as much a waste of a move as it is. There's any other move I could possibly use would be a better decision, I suppose, than using that. So let me just stock up on our health and MP here at the end of the fight, as always should be done, and take this guy down. All right. So this is going to be another almost 20-minute episode. They're not all going to be this way, but these 2 ended up this way. Anyways, why a talking fairy? As if a firefly true. Ha, you are feisty blue. Aurora, this bug is perfect for you. And here we go with the bug theme. Oh my gosh, what is it? Esoon? No, yeah, not all the other episodes are going to be this long, 20 minutes, but unfortunately this one is. But these episodes, they were really centered around, just making, just trying to catch up and just kind of re-explain things. And I made a tumbled diamond there. Tumbled diamonds are incredibly useful. Increased speed by 2. Super nice to have. And then, of course, resistances, which elemental resistance is pretty much pointless, even in most areas. I mean, it's really not even worth your time, honestly. I just cannot find a use for it. I'm sorry, I can't. And here I make 1 of each: the rough tourmaline, rough amethyst, and rough citrine. Reduce magical damage by 5%. Not needed. Physical damage, not really needed on her. But if we check in here, like, she has a weaker physical defense than special, or than magical, but you know, whatever. And then honestly, these the citrine is probably the only one that's useful of the 3 for the last slot, because it increases. It's a 5% chance of bumping enemies back, and this is not withstanding interruption, so it can be incredibly useful. You'll bump them back regardless of where they're at in the timeline sometimes, and it's a very nice thing to have. So there's a little bit of puzzle elements here, a little some more treasure hunting, obviously. Some fun stuff we got to do here. Now, this is actually a bit deceiving right here. Now, okay, so we'll go over here real quick. And, okay, everything's done over there. I guess that's what I was checking. Now this right here, this kind of bugs me. I think that's a little bit deceiving, the fact that the tracks are curled up like that. I mean, I know that it's to indicate that they're broken, but when I see that, there's actually quite a few games that when they have railroad tracks like that, that's to mean you can't get past it. Like, that's to mean it's broken, and it can't be fixed, and it can't be, things can't be pushed past it. I mean, there's a lot of games that actually use that, and so it actually is a little bit deceiving, I gotta say. It gets me quite often. But regardless, up we go. And then turn the lever to open the door so we can get out of here. And don't bump it on your way out. Imbecile. Alright, and then we have to deal with these rock guys. But before we do that, let's go down here. There should be some treasure down here. Those guys crack me up, though. Those rock monster things. And oh, that's right. This is the part where I discovered that that is just an alternate path and completely useless to me. And also is a treasureless path, so yeah, if you don't really care that much. Well, I mean, I guess there is this down here. And then, oh, that's right. There's a bonus room. Go through it, please. Thank you. Gosh, I was going to kick myself if I didn't actually go through that. No, I knew I went in here. So there's actually a new, oh gosh, that's right. These things are in here. So remember those creepy freaking angels from earlier in the game? Well, now we have fire versions of them. Yeah, thank goodness for Finn. These, they're not too bad. Thank goodness for the upgraded monsoon. Should be able to take these things out relatively easily. But these, I believe, have a counter physical damage, but of course there's nothing else I can really do with Nora. Damage, though. I'm surprised it actually didn't kill it. Do they have a counter? No, well, I guess they don't. But, that sound is so creepy. I'm sorry. That is just... It's so creepy. Also, yeah, MP. Yeah, get that. There you go. There you go, buddy. Alright, now hold that one in place. Oh, no, they do have a countering physical attack. Gosh, that sound. That is, like, seriously, the stuff of nightmares. That sound that they make. Like, I personally think that is more frightening than anything I've actually heard or seen in a horror game. And then, of course, a lull is always nice. Then that's going to actually open her to attack. Thus allowing Finn to actually get an attack off with this turn. Luckily, we have just enough MP to do it. And then a level up, if he does get it at the end of this fight, should just restore his MP anyway. And of course, that was a dodge, but whatever. They should finish it off, right? Yep, critical hit. Oh, no level up. Never mind. Well, I believe I'm sure I used something here to restore his MP, right? I'm Finn. Nice to fight beside ya. How adorable. A garden dwarf. Thank you kindly, miss. Psst, what's a garden dwarf? Must be the door to a garden. Orf. Wow! Now that was like, oh, that rhyme though. Seriously, trying to rhyme orf with something? Just orf. Like the sound orf. That's like saying, gosh, this dungeon really is tough. Cuff. Instead of cough or something. I don't know. That's like terrible. That is terrible. Either way. So we just continue along. This is all just bonus stuff in here. Enemies to fight and get experience with, and then a bunch of treasures to open. And try not to get yourself killed via the terrain. Now, I believe I bypassed that door, but I actually think that door is home to just treasure. But I bypassed that for now, thinking that was like an alternate exit route. But we should go back to it in this video, and got to use that magic potion on Finn, you know, before I get into this fight and get myself killed. And I know, oh, that's right. Do you see where I was right when the fight started? Yeah, the second I come out of this fight, I'm gonna get hit by the spikes in the terrain. So stupid. Either way, at least Monsoon should take care of these. But being the smart person that I am. Actually, that's right. I didn't switch to Aurora. Okay, never mind. Being the dumb person I am, I actually stick with Nora and just quicken Finn. And I guess that is a viable strategy too, but it would be better to switch to Aurora in this instance so she could use Starlight. Oh well. Nora is so cool! No wonder I kept her. I was probably at this point when I was recording this still riding off the high of, wow, Aurora is amazing. Like, seriously though, she is amazing. She is such a good character, and it's okay for her to take hits. She is the tank of this game. That's what she is. She is the tank. I love those criticals, by the way. Oh, those criticals making me a happy man right now. Probably make me a happy man then, too. Let's not talk in the past tense, and there's me hitting that. How delightful, a carnival jester. Not yet. I'm on my way to a circus nearby. And how strong you are. I bet you could raise a real lady high. Show me one and I'll make an attempt. She means a try. Was that a burn? Like, seriously, I'm pretty sure that that was a burn on Rubella's part. Like, they were saying, show me, like, she said, I bet you could raise a real lady high. And then she goes, well, show me one. Like implying Nora and Aurora don't count. Like, I'm pretty sure that was a burn. And it just flew right over their heads. Also, going face first into spikes. That's a thing that, you know, I do. But yeah. Anyways. Also, yeah, hey, don't miss that treasure chest. Go back. There you go, pal. Good job. I can understand some people's frustration with my gameplay. Okay, I have to just kind of say, I am definitely one of those people. I'm a very unobservant first-timer with games. I catch on to things really quick. Like, once I catch on to it, it sticks really well. But I'm not a person who, like, I see something and, like, everything, you know, cylinders don't start firing immediately. Like, it's just, I'm just like, oh, the what? Like, I am a person who has that just kind of playstyle where I'm just like, I don't get, and then when I do see it, it's just like, oh, well, now I see it every time, and I always get it, and I always know exactly what to do with it. Anyways, our bodies cut like dragonflies the air, dividing parsley in the winds for later. To unwrap carefully under the stare, like bark our skin, stores fire's blinding blue flare. Earthquakes our bones, shake at their equator, arced light from the skies dance in our hair. Gifts all hidden beneath surface willpower, raging rivers subterranean pure. Water tapped before the explorer's tower, by wild ones, keepers of the magic power. They alone divine the deep source obscure, their grasp taught Lemuria to flower. Yet inside of giving we build cages, and bury truth, hide our world from the ages. I don't even know what to make of that confession, honestly. Like, again, I'm still under the impression that, yes, this is Aurora's father and stuff like that, but I'm not positive. Like, I mean, he's the only one I could assume. They sound like they're coming from a good guy, so I would assume it's no antagonist. And the only other good guy we know that isn't, you know, in our party is, like that's a kind of a big deal, is the king, which is Aurora's father. So it's like, who else would it be? That's what I'm just assuming. I could be wrong. But anyway, backwards we go. And if I don't go through that door down there, I'm going to be kicking myself. Do I? Yes, I do. Okay, good. Just to test it out. And I believe, yes, this is just a room filled with treasure. Oh, yeah. See? Two things. So, treasure box. And then this thing that a Uniculus can open. Always down for finding treasure. Always just down for scouring things and finding and getting and being happy about and loving. Oh yes, oh yes. Now, the Plains of Rambert, I gotta say, this is, and up to the point that I played, probably my least favorite portion of the game, because it is literally just, fight the enemies, go through, like, even the first area, which had a lot of that, it still felt like you were kind of rushed through because you were learning things, and it was like, okay, I mean, it didn't feel like it was dragging. This part feels like it's dragging, but it never feels like it gets to that point again throughout this entire game. I gotta say. Like, I never catch that vibe again, which is good. Which is good. I definitely hate monotony, even in, I mean, in RPGs in general, but even in, action RPGs. I can't stand it. Paper Mario, for example, has a few segments like that, where it just feels like, alright, I'm just going, like all the Paper Marios too. Dude, don't even get me started on the 1,000-Year Door. Holy crap. That has, see, that's probably one of the reasons I don't like 1,000-Year Door, and we're good, we're going off topic of this game, but I think it's one of the reasons I don't actually care for 1,000-Year Door as much as the 64 version. Because, while the 64 version, I mean, I will admit the 1,000-Year Door has a lot of superior mechanics. Story-wise, I like the 64 version more. And just gimmicks and stuff. But the one other thing I really like is the 64 does feel like it's better paced. 1,000-Year Door has so many moments of just stop, fight, 20 enemies. Like, the moon has a ton of that. And frickin', what's it? The second world that you go to. The one where you, find a flurry. That one is just, like, both of those just have so much of this. Just go through and fight the enemy. And keep fighting the enemy. And oh, here's another enemy. And yeah, it's just like, And I get it. I mean, it's not as bad in that game, I would say, as it is in this game. Because in this game is, like, based around the concept that you need to fight every enemy to garner enough experience to survive in this game. And Paper Mario, you can bypass a lot more. Because really, there's required fights, and then there's not so required fights. And really, all you need to do... I mean, you do need to do some non-required fights, but mostly just the required fights, and you're good to go. Like, it's like the non-required fights almost feel irrelevant a lot of the time. It's, and maybe not even required fights, but like suggested as required fights. Like, yeah, maybe you run into this room and then there's only one guard there, and yeah, you can get around him technically, but he seems like somebody you should fight because he probably is holding like an item or something like that. And even if he isn't, it's like suggested that you should fight him. So even if you just take care of all those, you don't really need to worry about it. The mirror, I fear it is there, the temple up in the air. We cannot fly that high. Perhaps there's a path through the sky. Let us ask someone nearby. But who would this someone be, Aurora? Who would this someone even be? Oh, probably not this guy, because he's a rock. No, not be prejudiced or anything. He just is a rock. It doesn't change nothing. Frickin'. Anyways. Action RPGs. My favorite kind of RPGs, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my gosh. I could gush about these. Like, if we had enough time in the video, I'd gush about it. Because it's like... RPGs, JRPGs, SRPGs, they're just not my thing, okay? And very valid reasons. They are so, to me, so monotonous. And not exciting enough to make up for said monotony. Like, if a game is monotonous, like, for instance, Destiny. Holy crap, when you get into the nitty-gritty of that game, it is possibly one of the most monotonous games that you ever played. I enjoy it, though, because its mechanics are so fun, it makes up for it. And games kind of have to do that for me to enjoy the monotony, or at least get past it, and not mind it. Because monotony in and of itself isn't bad if it's executed well, but in just because of the way, you know, I guess it has to do with like my attention span or something, but for me, most JRPGs, it just doesn't. It's just like, I'm grinding. Grinding, I hate it. I hate it so much. You have no idea. There's nothing in a game I hate more than grinding. But anyways, that's going to be about it for this episode. Not much left. We're going to take a look at our skill points here really quickly. Rebella has an upgrade, and she's just going to stay balanced. We don't really use her much, unfortunately. And then Nora is going to get the Petrify upgrade, which is awesome. So awesome. I freaking love it. And working towards that Petrify all, which, such a beautiful thing to have. You guys have no idea. No idea. Well, you will soon enough. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be it for this episode of Let's Play Child of Light. I hope you all enjoyed it very, very, very much. And I will see you all in the next one.